Shalom, Kala, Yabashim, Yahushai. Double honors to the elder apostles, a great millstone. Much love to you brothers pushing the truth on the streets. I'm just going to read this quick article and attribute it to a scripture. It says American decline. Open pools of raw sewage in the richest country in the world. As the wealthy continue sucking the country dry, the question now isn't if the U.S. will cease to provide a decent standard of living for its people. Rather is how many people will be sacrificed on the way down. In America, the richest nation in the world, when measured by raw GDP, children are getting sick from living by open pools of raw sewage. This was one of many shocking findings by the United Nations last year, following a 2-week investigation into extreme poverty in the U.S. And that's how a lot of people live in the U.S. You know, people look at the United States as a wonderful place to live, but they don't, go into this on the news. They don't go into the American infrastructure and how it's falling apart. Now, we can go to another article before I get back to this. Basically, how Trump's saying that he's going to reopen funding for American infrastructure as they're trying to rebuild, America and make it, by his standards, great again. It's U.S. news. Let's see. So in this one, I'm going to paraphrase it. Basically, you can check it out. It's on RT. Trump slams the Middle East, funding as if he's going to abort that. Like he's going to get rid of 30 to 40 years of foreign policy. They're not going to do that. They're going to maintain their presence in the Middle East. They're not leaving the Middle East, but they're trying to play it as if they're going to downsize their presence in the Middle East and bring funding back to America. And, rightfully so. America, spends most of its money on invading other countries and stealing other nations' resources. So a lot of the stuff that, the funding and taxpayers pay for goes to the military, goes to militarizing the police state in America. That's why you see all these roads, they're all jacked up, where I live. And then back to this other article where it was saying that in certain cities, like, we could point out Flint, Detroit's been a slum for a very long time. There's a lot of cities that are in need of repairs, and America just overlooks it. But back to this article, see if there's anything else in here. The United States is one of the world's richest, most powerful, and technologically innovative countries, but neither its wealth nor its power nor its technology is being harnessed to address the situation in which 40 million people continue to live in poverty. I know I'm poor, so I can speak for myself, but, here it is. They're telling us that unemployment's at an all-time low, that the stock market's, doing great, better than, it's been before, that, they're spending all this money trying to lower the tax rate. But, man, I can speak on myself personally. I pay taxes all year, and I still owe the government money. I'm in that particular tax bracket where I'm supposed to be expected to live on pennies, and I'm not going to get jack back this year simply because Esau, Edom, and the government think that I made more than enough to live this year. So, and that's many people. A lot of brothers live on a paycheck to paycheck basis. A lot of people in America live on a paycheck to paycheck basis. And that shit goes overlooked. He continued, I met with many people barely surviving on Skid Row in Los Angeles. I witnessed a San Francisco police officer telling a group of homeless people to move on, but having no answer when asked where they could move to. So that's what they do. They're taking the homeless and they're putting them in prisons and in jails. Like the dude asked, where am I supposed to go if I can't sleep on the street and rent's too expensive for me to live on my own? Minimum wage is $10, but I need to make at least 19 to 20 in order to, correctly accommodate my lifestyle, accommodate my bills and things that I need to survive. It's not possible. So a lot of people are resorting to homelessness. They just rather, live on their own means on the streets or make their own camps and hope to survive that way. Here in Colorado Springs, there's a lot of homeless people, man, and You know, you'll drive up and down the highways and see homeless camps and tents. And, you know, when I was doing community service, you know, they made us go tear some of those places down. And aside from feeling like a complete asshole, you know, basically some of those people would look at us like we're the worst people in the world, you know, because we're tearing down their shit. And, you know, I felt bad. You know, some of the other people that were doing community service weren't feeling that way. But, you know, that's the status of America. But real quick with the scripture, Isaiah 47:1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground where there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. And, you know, in the 50s and in the early parts of American history, America was like a great place. And, of course, they influenced the rest of the world with their policies and the way that they set their school systems up and all that stuff, etc., etc. But here it is, the Most High is slowly bringing down America. And with all these promises by Trump and the elites that everything's going to be rebuilt and be okay, that's not the case, man. The Most High is bringing America down like this and exposing America for what it really is. Evil and a wicked place that is totally against the scriptures. Not just America, but, you know, all these kingdoms in the world. You know, so America as a huge example, the Most High is using as a huge example, but this is happening all across the world. The Middle East is tore up and war tattered. You know, women and children get murdered all the time over there. They have no homes. Like if you look at Syria and some of the devastation that's in Syria, it's crazy. You know, these countries just go and blow shit up and kill innocent women and children, all for the sake of what they say is either terrorism or for the better cause, man, for the better of the world. It says, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. And that's the exposing that is happening in America. You know, the men of Great Millstone and all the brothers that teach the truth are chronicling the downfall of America with the scriptures. The Most High is setting it up so beautifully that the brothers are, you know, on their watchtowers watching this place crumble, watching their nations crumble, and being able to see it happening just like the scriptures, just like Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua has said and prophesied from the beginning. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So, and that's what's going to happen. Ultimately, America is going to keep degrading. These nations are going to keep being degraded. There's not going to be a rebuilding. You know, this will happen in our lifetime. These prophecies have come to pass in our lifetime. The Most High made his promise that he will return in our lifetime, in our generation, now that these things have started to happen. All right, so he's going to come back, and ultimately he's going to meet these nations with his chariots, with his angels in the chariots, and with Yahushua leading the forefront. It's going to wage war on these nations. So we're going to see a degradation of these nations. They're going to keep losing economic, keep seeing these cities being torn apart and straight shit. Life is going to get even harder and harder. It's not going to get better. Part of the scriptures, man. We'll get one more real quick before I end it. I think it's in Micah. Could be wrong. Malachi. Malachi 1:4, whereas Edom saith, Edom being the so-called Europeans, that's not categorizing all Europeans, that's just saying that as a forefront for a starting factor of who Esau Edom is, that would be your modern day European or so-called Caucasian, someone that lacks melanin. Whereas Edom saith, America saith, you could interchange those names, Edom, America, Esau, Caucasian, European, UK, United Nations, or not United Nations, NATO, I should say. You know, all interchangeable right there. And the rest of these nations, because they all look up to Esau. They all created their nations by Esau, through his teachings, through his philosophies. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished. That's why we're just reading in RT. There's cities all around America where people are living next to raw sewage. Where you have Flint, where the FBI investigates and people are supposedly getting penalized or put in jail for the things that they do or did in Flint, and yet these people still don't have an adequate source of drinking water. And that's what I'm saying. We're impoverished. America's impoverished. I pay taxes all year. Still got to pay more money to Esau. Impoverished. The poverty is all-time high. Homelessness is an all-time high. We're impoverished. All right, so you can line these scriptures up with what's happening right around us. It says, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Now, when America was first constructed, people would say, oh, the Lord is with America. That's why when, the forefathers of America built or made their so-called came up with the Constitution, they said, oh, in God we trust. It's in on the dollar. Okay, because the Most High allowed this kingdom to be established for the purpose of bringing it down. And that's important that we understand that. All right, so they're saying we're impoverished. The Most High is going to keep pressure on America. The Most High is going to keep pressure on all these nations to keep falling apart because we're in the end. These prophecies are happening right before our eyes. So it's important that we maintain ourselves, maintain our watchtower. I didn't want to make this too long. Hopefully it was edifying. Shalom.